So welcome back to episode 2 of my Stranger Things 4-part series. We're going to be looking at season 2 soundtrack, but before I do that, if you've watched my season 1, I did say they didn't do, because what they do basically, they do a vinyl version of the soundtracky stuff, and then they do like normally a vinyl version of like tracks, songs that we use throughout. And I said there wasn't one for season 1. I lied. There is. I've got it here. I'm going to show you that now before we kind of move into season 2's soundtrack. So here it is. So we looked at the volume 1, volume 2. Now, this is the cover for that record. So there was kind of 3 records that came out for that. You've got them looking at Hawkins sitting on the road. The artwork is just great on these records. So this is kind of to accompany season 1. So the tracks that were kind of used in it, and the kind of tracks I'm talking about. You've got like you've got Will singing the Clash straight from there, so that's really good to hear because that was quite haunting. You've got Every Breath You Take, Shoulda Stay, Shoulda Go, the Clash, Hazy Shade of Winter, Echo and the Bunnymen. You've got Girls on Film, Atmosphere, Joy Division. Out of all of the kind of compilations they did of the tracks using it, this is probably my favourite one because I love nearly every track on here. One of them on here is Back to Nature, Fad Gadget, Rock You Like a Hurricane. And then the outro, this is Will singing the Clash again. So this is probably the kind of best kind of the music that was used in Stranger Things. So as I said, season 1, I showed you the kind of soundtrack volumes 1 and 2. This is the record that has all the pop tracks that were used and of that era, of that time. Remember, Stranger Things started in 1983. I'm not sure what year season 2 was, but gatefold-wise, you've got a good kind of montage of like images from there. Obviously, is dressed up as Ghostbusters, and this was such a great season as well. And there's Barb, the classic Barb. Hope she returns in season 5, even just for a minute. So that's the gatefold for that. Inside, you just get like a small poster of Hopper when he finds all the pumpkins all rotten. That's a good image, that one. And then you get a sticker inside as well. The vinyl is just normal black vinyl. Again, it's double vinyl, normal black vinyl. So that is the accompanying tracks of the era for Stranger Things season 1. Now, going on to season 2. I've only got the soundtrack. I'm not sure if there was an accompanying vinyl release of the tracks throughout that kind of period of Stranger Things 2. So I need to have a look for that. But this was a really good season. This is when they kind of find Max and they go to the arcade. You know, the clothes are just great in that. So this is the kind of soundtrack, and obviously the Mind Flayer makes his appearance as well. And I always love the posters. The posters give it kind of a bit of a giveaway. So this is season 2. This is the soundtrack to season 2. Again, double vinyl. The back, you've got the track listing. So remember, these are soundtracks. You've got stuff like Walking in Hawkins, On the Bus, Descent into the Rift, Escape. Some of these is quite dark, you know. Some of it kind of gets your heart going, you know, because there was some real dark moments in season 2 as well, and the music kind of reflects that. The gatefold this time is just a bigger image of Hopper amongst the pumpkins all rotten. Great image. I loved that kind of part of it because that was, you knew something ominous was going to happen at this scene here, but it was so good. I loved that. Now the vinyl inside is a double vinyl. As I said, it's always double vinyl. Now this is kind of a blue splatter vinyl, which to me is probably one of the best looking vinyl I think they've done for the Stranger Things season 2. So that's blue splatter. We had green for season 1, and then vinyl number 2. Here you go. Again, blue splatter as well, and they're pressed really well as well, I've got to say, because remember, these are kind of soundtracky, so you've got layers of sounds, you've got, you know, you've got loads of width in these sounds, and they're pressed really well. And I do listen to these kind of full volume. I do have a favourite season when it comes to the music, but we haven't come across it yet, so which means it's either 3 or 4. But that's the kind of double vinyl. That's season 2. Now you do get an inlay with it, which is really good. It was when Will is at home and then he kind of senses the mind flare and he opens up the door and he's somewhere else in the upside down, and you can see the mind flare in the background there. That's such a great image, such a great moment in Stranger Things season 2. I have actually gone through and I've watched each season probably about 5 to 10 times each, so I know everything back to front when it comes to this season. And I think Season 1 was great, kind of setting up the storylines. This is when it really starts getting to the nitty gritty. So you've got that image on one side. These are made great posters as well, or frames. And then the other side, you've got all of the, all music written by Carl Dixon and Michael Stein. I mean, those guys are just incredible. Just see if there's anything on here. Art directed, mastered by, again, Netflix. And then you've got like an image of Rotten Pumpkins, just like the kind of gatefold for season 2. Now, I don't know if there was another vinyl that came out with this, with the kind of tracks of that era. If there was, let me know. Just leave your comments below. Let me know if there was an accompanying release with the tracks that I kind of used for there. But I'll have a look for that. I'll do some research. But that was Stranger Things season 2. Again, double vinyl, blue splatter. Great imagery, a great season. But join me for the next one. We're going to have a look at season 3.